Welcome everyone to the Conscious Living Show. My name is Patricia Hamilton, and today I've got a beautiful guest, a very good friend of ours who's been a regular participant and exhibitor at Conscious Living Expo, and it's Francis Bevan. And welcome, Francis. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm good and looking forward to the experience.
Fantastic. So just by way of introduction, Francis has had a very long professional career as a psychic, as an astrologer. He's also an author, and he travels around the world and does consultations with people, thousands of people over the years. I think you mentioned that it was 1984 that you first began. And so he's been touching the lives of so many people with his guidance and intuitive readings, and as well as, of course, his astrology predictions and forecasts. So, Francis, I'm really intrigued because you didn't start off as a psychic. You actually became a psychic after you left the police force. So I find that very interesting that you would have that kind of a career change.
That has been a 60-degree turn.
So how long were you in the police force?
I was in the police force for 3 years. I joined the Australian Federal Police in 1981 and I left in 1984.
So what was it that made you realise that you were, that this was your destiny?
Well, I was very fortunate. I grew up with a mother who had a major interest in everything psychic.
Mm-hmm.
I had a father who was also extremely gifted.
Mm.
So that's where my interest started from. So neither of my parents were professional psychics. I'm the one that stepped out of the circle and said, this is me.
And I think we were talking about before that back in the day, back in 1984, it was still illegal in some places to actually conduct psychic readings or tarot readings. So
that's right.
Yeah.
It was illegal in Perth. It was illegal in Brisbane. As I was saying before, 2 of my colleagues were actually arrested in Perth for doing psychic readings because it was sort of looked upon as gambling. You're sort of taking a chance with your life, a chance with your future. It's gambling. Then also in Brisbane, they used to have what they call the tea lounges. And there you would go in, you would get a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, you get a plate of scones or a plate of sandwiches or whatever. But in that shop, there'd have to be a sign. The sign would have to read, "We do not profess to tell fortunes, we merely entertain." If you didn't have that sign, you could be sued.
Yes. Well, I think that's what, most people were, when you think of a psychic and you think of fortune telling, it does conjure up gypsies and people that are a little bit, on the outer of society, if you like, who have these gifts. But actually, what you've been talking to me about is that everybody has the gift of intuition to some extent. So would you like to share a little bit more about that?
Everybody has the ability to be psychic, every single one of us. There are those of us that there are those of us that are a lot more in tune with our senses, with our emotions, with our gifts, with our abilities. And that's where we operate from. There are those of us that are like empaths. We tune into other people's emotions. We tune into them, and when they're feeling highly stressed and agitated and they want to jump out of their skin, we feel it. That's what an empath does. We all have the ability to tune into other people. And by tuning into their energy, we're able to.
Mm-hmm. But that's a bit different to knowing what. Sorry, go ahead.
The ancient Aboriginal pendulum is to survive, to find shelter. We've kind of had a revolution with the technology. Just more, and that's one of us. And of course, they then looked at the year where I started running work classes. I'm getting a great.
Yeah, well, I think that's what we were saying before, is that people are very, yes, they want education. They want to develop themselves, so that I think that's one of the questions that I have is, you know, if you go to see a psychic and you're looking for answers outside from another person, you're not necessarily paying attention to your own intuition and your own guidance as much as you could be. Or does it help if you go to see someone?
It certainly does help, because what happens is a lot of people will be guided by their anxiety.
Right.
They'll be guided by fear. They'll be guided by lack of faith, lack of trust. And that experienced reader, that psychic that has years of practice behind him, is the one that can help guide you in the right direction. It's always advisable to go to a psychic that has been referred to you, or that you know that has quite a long history. Someone who can find out information about. It's like every other field. Yes, there are great, fantastic practitioners. And just like the building field, yes, there's bad builders as well.
Yes. And there are different.
And there's different types, yes.
Different types, like there's mediumship, there's clairvoyance, there's psychometry, there's so many different specialities, aren't there now, in the
psychometry is not necessarily a new tool. It's been around ever since day dot. But it's becoming known. It's like there's other fields. Like I was having a discussion with a member of my team, Francis Bevan, in the International Inner Circle. Sabina. She's getting into face reading, but she also works with reflexology. She was keen to drop reflexology and focus on face reading. But my advice to her is to keep the reflexology. It's known, it's trusted. And by bit you can introduce the face reading. You keep them both.
Yes.
It's what people are educated about that they trust. Like the tarot. Everyone knows that tarot has been around for virtually ever and a day. Numerology, they know it's been around for a long time. Astrology. People know what they trust what they know about. They may not know all the answers, but they will go with what they know they feel right about.
So astrology is one of your specialities as well, and
yes.
you were just saying to us that we're in a retrograde period for Uranus. And I
Yes.
asked the question, well, what does that actually mean? How would we be experiencing that in our lives?
So as we were talking, the tides of the moon get affected, the tides of the ocean, get affected by the moon.
Mm.
And therefore, they also affect us. We are made of water after all. That's how they influence us.
Mm.
And the planets have the same influence.
Mm.
And the thing is that when a planet is running backward, it appears to be going backwards. When it's going retrograde, it appears to be going backwards. Our planet doesn't travel backwards, of course. But when a planet does do what we call retrograde, quite often it's about going over old ground. You're getting an opportunity to go back and clean up things that should have been cleaned up quite some time ago. Uranus very interestingly made an entrance into Taurus just recently. And the fact is that just in general, it's all about people's relationships.
Mm.
The planet Venus
Mm-hmm.
connects to Taurus.
Mm-hmm.
Venus is the planet of love. It's also relationships.
Mm.
Without going into too much personal detail,
Mm-hmm.
I reconnected with my sister last year after many years of being estranged.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So that was a Uranus effect.
Mm-hmm.
Comes from out of the blue.
Mm.
And the planets say it's now time to deal with this. What was interesting, it happened during a Uranus retrograde period.
Yes.
So it always gives you the chance to go back over the past and clean up things that should have been sorted out quite some time ago.
Mm. So my question is, in terms of readings and guidance and predictions, or when you give information to someone about something that could be happening in the future or maybe happening, likely to happen, so is that a good thing to give that sort of information to someone, even if it may not be a very positive situation, like it could be a health scare, or it could be a breakup of a relationship? Do you think that's necessary to do that?
I built my business on being blunt.
Mm.
Some of my team members are not quite there with so much being blunt and direct.
Mm-hmm.
What's very interesting is that through my email readings, when the email question gets answered by a member of my team, my long-term established clients can tell it's not a Francis Bevan reading.
Mm.
Because Francis Bevan is direct, he's
Yes.
blunt, he's straight to the point. He tells you the facts. He tells you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Mm.
That's what my clients expect out of me.
Mm.
I have a database of over 6,000 people.
Mm.
Every one of them knows they phone Francis Bevan, they get the truth.
Mm.
And the whole thing about the truth is the truth sets you free.
Yes.
You may not like the truth, but it's what you need to move forward.
Mm. And we also were talking about world events too, that you also do have a sense of impending war situations that are likely to become very volatile. Do you want to share a little bit about what we were sharing before about the world situation at the moment?
I do believe that Iran there's going to be another war with Iran.
Mm.
There's so many unsettled issues.
Unresolved issues.
Unresolved issues, unsettled, unresolved. They're And the good thing about a war is at least it clears things out.
Yeah.
I know it's unfortunate, but there's always a positive out of a negative.
Mm.
The thing is that these issues should have been settled quite some time ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they haven't been.
Mm.
It's like the whole terror thing. Their thing is to create terror. There are people that consult me these days that are frightened to take a flight.
Really?
Yes,
Mm.
they're frightened.
Mm.
But the whole thing is, I say you do not let fear control you.
Mm.
You've got to have the faith and the trust, and be grateful that we now have an opportunity through technology of checking baggage, of of scanning people. I know it's an inconvenience, but I'd much rather have that inconvenience than not have it.
Yes, it's true.
So they shouldn't allow fear to stop them from travelling.
Mm.
Life is there to be lived.
Mm.
And by giving into your fears and your anxieties, you're saying, yes, they have won.
Mm. But at the same time, if you had a sense that something was, if it was not a good, it was not a good idea to travel on a particular day or take that particular flight, if your intuition was giving you that message, then I imagine you'd be making a mistake if you weren't listening to that.
I believe in trusting your gut instincts and your intuition.
Yes.
There's actually quite an interesting story about the famous bionic woman, Lindsay Wagner, the actress.
Mm-hmm.
She was at an airport. She's sitting in the lounge. She started to feel sick in the stomach.
Mm.
Her mother and herself were booked on the flight. She got up. She went to the service desk
Mm-hmm.
and cancelled the flights. 2 hours later, that plane crashed.
Wow. Wow.
So she really is the bionic woman.
Yeah. Well, it's true, isn't it? I mean, you do get these flutters or experiences in your body that are giving you some indication that something's not quite right. So I think
That's
that's what
right.
you're going to be teaching people more about when you come to Perth, isn't it? Of how to pay more attention and develop those abilities of reading yourself and your own intuition.
So when I come to Perth, I've been doing not only the main stage demonstrations and connecting people with their loved ones that have passed over and delivering messages as well,
Mm.
and doing private readings at my booth.
Yes.
I will also be teaching a workshop where I teach the everyday Mr. and Mrs.
Mm.
to tune into their gut feelings and their intuitions and to trust them,
Mm.
to clear that baggage, to stop over-analysing,
Mm.
to stop doubting, to start trusting.
And that's so important now. So much anxiety and stress, and because there's a barrage of information, there's technology, there's so much going on, and there's a lot of people who really are not confident about where they're going or what they should be doing. And I think this is important, really important, that you can assist people to strengthen their confidence and their abilities to know, what is right, what is the right path to take. Because after all, we're on this journey of awakening to more of who we really are and of being of, greater service and more connection with all of life. So it seems to me to make sense that becoming more aware of those signals, those messages, is really critical at this time, particularly.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So,
And the thing
Francis,
is that a lot of people don't take notice of the small signs.
yes, and they are
The
small,
universe,
they can be easily overlooked.
I got a very interesting example for you.
Mm.
My mother's big passion. My mother's not with us anymore, but her big passion was the family tree.
Mm.
In Rockhampton, she reconnected with one of our long lost cousins who became like a daughter to her
Mm.
and a sister to me.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin Honor, my mother could never do the break from the Bevan family tree, no matter how hard she tried. Other people that you made contact with said, "Oh, we can do it." No, they couldn't. Thanks to Ancestry.com and my cousin's Honor's intuition, she managed to trace the Bevan family tree.
Mm.
I always said there's a convict here. There's something that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
She made the breakthrough. Before this happened, I was getting messages, and it was my father's side of the family they were working on, of course. And I kept getting messages from the universe, like I was driving on the M4 motorway. The car in front of me had the name Alfred,
Mm-hmm.
my father's first name.
Mm-hmm.
A few days later, there's another car, registration plate, APM. My father worked at the APM.
Mm.
So the universe was trying to let me know that all the stuff my mother had been working on was finally resolved.
Mm.
My cousin spent hours on that, as you can imagine.
Yes.
I'm afraid to say that I wasn't that thrilled when it arrived. I mean, I was, I didn't take a great deal of interest of it. I just shoved it aside.
Mm-hmm.
My niece called from out of the blue and said, "Uncle Francis, have you got the information that Nana was working on with the Bevan family tree?" I said, "Yes." I said, "And by the way, our cousin in Rockhampton has put all this information together." "Oh, Uncle Francis, have you looked at it?" The answer is no, I hadn't looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "But I can get you a copy of it." I went to Officeworks. And as it was being copied, I could see all the names that my mother kept talking about coming out and coming out and coming out and coming out. I realised that Honor really had found the answers to things that had puzzled my mother way back in the 80s.
Mm.
But the universe is trying to let me know that the answers to those questions have been resolved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So by being aware of those signs, whether it's number plate reading,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's smelling a perfume that may remind you of a loved one who's passed over, flowers, roses,
Mm-hmm.
hearing a song on the radio unexpectedly, they all mean that your loved ones are with you. They're all messages from the universe.
Mm.
It's the simple things that we take for granted that we ignore.
Yes. Yes. That's beautiful, isn't it? We're leading lives that are so dominated by, technology and by the need to produce and, we're very busy in our lives. So we often are not paying enough attention. And they're beautiful moments that we can incorporate and integrate more into who we are. And I think that's one of the gifts that you bring and others who have gifts like you have, is to invite us to take a little bit more time to tune in, to be more sensitive, be more caring, and be more aware of the signs and messages that we are being given all the time. if only we are receptive to it. So,
yes.
um,
And
so
it's
Fred,
once you receive them, is to trust them.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you again at Conscious Living Expo in Perth, which will be on the 25th to the 27th. But in the meantime, you're also going to be on Psychic TV, which is now available on YouTube and Facebook and Foxtel, you were saying. And people can get in touch with you if they want to have a personal reading with you at francisbevan.com.
Yes.
And you also have a column, an astrology column, which we publish in Conscious Living magazine. So there'll be a new one coming out for October, which we're looking forward to. And just in closing, I asked you before, what is your inspiration? What is it that keeps you going in this work that you do? What inspires you?
Well, I give the same example I gave you when I was talking to you.
Mm.
On Saturday, I had a call from a 19-year-old boy. His very first relationship. Being at that age, his parents wanted him to see a psychic who they trusted, who they knew wouldn't just take their son's money. Who was going to be there genuinely for the boy. They told him the only psychic he could go to was myself. I've known the family since 2000. These days, your psychic is very much a part of the family, like the family doctor.
Yes.
And they knew that by coming to me that their son was going to get genuine guidance, genuine direction. And the fact is that from that and getting that knowledge would set him free to move forward with his life.
That's beautiful, because as you're saying that, sorry, Francis, I just remembered when I went to see a clairvoyant when I was much, much younger, and the information that he gave me was so kind of shocking at the time, but was so true that I never forgot that. And it was like revealing a pathway that I had never imagined would be my pathway. And I just remembered as you were saying that, it's like it does in a way set you free, because then you know that there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just simply what's unfolding in your life. So I feel that that's a beautiful gift that you can share with people, to give people that sort of confidence to be themselves and move on in their lives.
And what's amazing to me is that no matter what's happened with my personal life, doesn't matter what upheavals have happened, that my business and my clients have always seen me through it. It's been the one constant in my life all the time. So it's a big positive.
Yes, yes. Well, it's been beautiful having a chat with you. I always feel very held in a beautiful, loving space whenever I talk to you, because I feel that your integrity and your caring really shines through. So thank you so much, Francis, and thank you to everyone who's been listening. And we'll look at the Conscious
Sorry
Living.
about that, Patricia.
That's okay. Thank you, Francis, and we'll catch up with you and have another chat really soon.
Fantastic. I'd like to say thank you very much for having me. It's been awesome to be interviewed by you. Totally looking forward to catching up with you, Jackie, everybody else there over in Perth.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.